University. Today's topic is on a brief synopsis of sensitivity analysis. What is sensitivity analysis? Basically, it's a financial modeling which we use to determine what impacts different values of given impact variable can uh, be specific to output metrics. This will enable analysts to play what if scenarios if they need, with key assumptions about how sale volumes will be, operating costs, and interest rates, and so on changes. It's basically asking the question of what if. What if sales volumes decreases? What if interest rates rise? Isolating one variable at a time while holding others constant allows us to see how much output shifts and helps us determine the risk and robustness of the project. It serves as a means of ensuring that the most valuable assumptions of the project success are identified. Next slide. Qualitative steps in sensitivity analysis. So, clearly, they define the objective of sensitivity analysis. They assess if a new project is viable or gauge the outcome of a market uncertainties. Right? What will be examined, including project revenues, material costs, economic conditions, etc. Since these assumptions need to be validated for them to be realistic and complete, collaborate with the stakeholders such as project managers and financial analysts. They also identify qualitative external factors that could affect project outcome but are not easily quantified. Next slide. Quantitative steps in sensitivity analysis. Also calculate the NPV or IRR. Develop a base case financial model with expected values of revenue, cost, and discount rate. These conditions will be specified to test for sensitivity to some specific input or variables, fixed costs, or working capital needs. They also keep other variables constant or adjust one variable at a time and observe how sensitive the project output is to that change. We record a new NPV or IRR for each variation and then summarize the result using tables of charts such as a spider or tornado diagrams to show sensitivity. This next slide, interpreting sensitivity analysis results. So after we collect the results, since which variables have the biggest influence on the project outcome, a sensitivity graph or steeper slope, will read more sensitivity for the variable. So steeper slope means more sensitive to that variable, right? Each variable is going to be depicted on whatever's happening in the project. So different outcomes are going to mean different things. I'm just spitballing here, freelancing. So moving back to the slide, we'll calculate the amount of deviation from the base case, i.e. the project's tolerance for risk. Like I said, projects will either succeed or fail, right? Different variables will have different outcomes that's going to affect the overall project. A variable can take before the project becomes unviable, right? That basically it's going to fail. So it should be used to decide whether to accept the project, add more risk, mitigate strategies, or modify the budget, right? More money means more attempts or variables that can be input to kind of move the project around. Let's say we have more money, right? More modifications can be made to a project to guarantee its success. In this case, like a smaller budget, we're kind of limited to what we can change and modify in one aspect. So, smaller budgets, you got to be kind of right on target at all times and to ensure the project is going to succeed in layman's terms, right? Bigger budgets, you got more flexibility, so you can move left or right depending on what's happening with the market, as we already said in the slides previous. Back to the slide. So use some other methods such as scenario analysis and Monte Carlo simulation in addition to scenario analysis to make a robust risk evaluation strategy. So I pretty much gave you that in a quick layman's synopsis prior to reading that. Incorporating risk into capital budgeting. So one way to incorporate risk into with risk adjusting discount rates, higher rates or used for more on certain projects. Again, more money, more modifications, therefore reducing their present value. They perform sensitivity or scenario analysis to test a range of possible outcomes because of a change to several key assumptions with the indication of potential volatility in returns. For modeling hundreds to thousands of random scenarios, Monte Carlo simulation is applied to simulate several hundred or more scenarios to produce a probability distribution of MPV or IR. Real options and analysis can create flexibility in decision making by valuing the decision to delay or expand or abandon the project depending on the course of future uncertainties. The benefits and limitations of sensitivity analysis. The benefits, as you can see here, it's relative to other methods, easy to implement, easy to understand, making it appropriate tool for use by many managers and stakeholders. Enables a focused view at which assumptions are most crucial to the success of projects. Also prioritize to be viewed in detail as a point of contingency planning, right? You got to have a plan A or a B. That's all that's saying. You can help better decision making by pointing potential risk factors early, right? In the evaluation process. So the benefits, all you are is highlighting what is and what isn't, right? Pros and cons, which we do on a day-to-day basis. That's all that is in business terms. How much money are we working with? What we can and can't do, what do stakeholders want or do not want. It all comes down to project management. So limitations. In the one variable at a time approach, interdependence among variables are ignored, right? One thing may affect another. If you let one thing affect another, it may drastically delay a project or just halt it all together. That way, or I'm not going to even say that way. On the flip side of it, if you got an interdependent variable, it may just derail the project altogether. Just based off, again, increased variable costs, right? The more money you have, the more modifications you can make to a project to guarantee its success. However, several adverse factors engaged at a time, it tends to understate the risk. It's not suitable as a standalone tool or complex risk. Next slide. So these are the references of what I found that works. So basically, just sensitivity analysis, in concluding it, is in a nutshell, the pros and the cons weighed out in the monetary value. What we can and cannot do based off how much money we have, right? In my opinion, the more money we have, the more modifications we can make to guarantee this project is going to happen. If we are sliding money or stakeholders begin to pull out, then we have to stay to our strict schedule and kind of skirt along, hoping and praying there's no modifications needed because the monetary or the financial resources aren't going to be there. Does that make sense? Again, layman's terms to me in Cincinnati analysts, pros and cons. The more money you have, the more modifications you can make on a project to guarantee success. Um, Thank you. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you.